What's going on, VC? Happy 4th of July. I hope everybody's doing well. Today I'm coming at you with Punk for Dummies. How did we get here? You're gonna have to give me a couple minutes to explain you why we're gonna be ranting and raving today. Let me start by address a situation that I've been dealing with recently. Not an issue, but it's something that I just want to put it out here because if it applied to me, I would like to be told so. All of you that skip through videos, I get it because I do it the same. I do it myself as well. But man, if the title of the video is records from the 80s, do not expect to see a record from the 70s or the 90s or 2000s. You know, just put it out here. That's all. All your comments are welcome, and I always take my time to genuinely give you a truthful answer. I appreciate all, even the trolls. We know that. Okay, so I haven't been here for almost a month. I think it's the longest stretch of time that I haven't done a video to the for the VC. The reason why it's because I embarked on this childish journey, I guess, of making mixtapes. I had a distro back in the 90s. I did thousands of bootlegs, and for some reason I'm having a blast on my limited free time that I have, going through my records and putting together mixtapes. I have this idea, and that's what I'm aiming for. I'm gonna do like a box set of 30 90-minute tapes of nothing but punk, you name it, what era, what country, what genre, whatever. So I've been entertained doing that, and I can show you the progress so far. This is what you're looking at. I decided to call this thing Punk Rock Anthems, the bootleg. And this is volume 1. Actually, we'll listen to this. 2, 3, 4. Volume 5 is Finnish punk. First wave at this point. Spanish, French, Italian, Swedish, Japanese, Dutch, and I did one of German punk as well, another one of anarcho punk, another one of punk from Portugal and Brazil, and today, 4th of July, with a family, family, they're not into as, they like punk rock, but the things that are more well known, they don't like to deep dive into obscurity of punk. So today I'm here because I did a cassette tape for this little project that I'm working on. It will be the volume 14 or 15th, and it will be called Punk for Dummies. And follow me here, okay? Of course, this is to personal taste. It's based on what I have. The idea was to put a cassette tape, like, you imagine that you are 12 years old and you don't know nothing about anything rather than what you've been dicking around on TikTok and all that, right? So your first exposure to punk rock will be this cassette tape that it will be given to you by your junkie uncle. And I put myself to the role of the junkie uncle that would feed a 12-year-old a punk rock cassette tape. So most of these are all well-known classics. So how do you make a mixtape? You grab records that you like and you just dub tune after tune. The idea of this video is also to get your input. You know, it's also an opportunity for us to engage, and also an opportunity for you guys to know that I'm alive and well. I'm not going anywhere. More videos coming at you soon. I'm just being embedded in this mixtape thing that I'm truly enjoying it, and I encourage anyone to do it if you have the gear to do it. So man, it's a blast. Just revisiting things, rediscovering things. It's a blast. So let's take a look at the mixtape that I did. You put yourself on the role of the junkie uncle, and let me tell you what you think about this. So I started by Sex Pistols, Nevermind the Bollocks. The song that I recorded, that I dubbed, was Bodies. And by the way, if you just bump into this and you're still here, this is actually all essential punk rock albums, though the Punk for Dummies title. No mean to offend. Hope you guys get the Punk for Dummies reference. Then, The Clash. Love this record to death. Safe European Home. Tommy Gun. Second song on A side. Some of the songs that I recorded, that I dubbed, actually I used the singles if the sound was better. A side, number 3, Damned, New Rose, legendary. 4th track, Dead Boys, Young, Loud, and Snotty, from Young, Loud, and Snotty. Probably my favorite, definitely my top 5 punk rock albums of all time. Chose to offer that kid the pleasure of listening to the song What Love Is. Be patient today, please. After that, I thought about dubbing Dictator, Search and Destroy, but I went with Stay With Me from Blood Brothers. So could bring a little bit of, romance to the mixtape. Then I went with Richard Allen Deutz. I had to go with Blank Generation. I was really tempted to go with Liars Beware, but yeah. If you're starting, you gotta go with Blank Generation. After that, I just plugged in Patti Smith, Easter. And guess what song I chose from this record? Yes. Politically incorrect. Truth as fuck. Rock and Roll Nigger. Then the almighty Ramones from Leave Home. For some reason I decided to go with Swallow My Pride. Again, we all bought all those records, cassettes, even CDs with all those, the best of punk, and I wanted to throw some salt and pepper into this. Swallow My Pride. After Swallow My Pride, I went with the legendary Canadian band Teenage Head, and of course I went Captain Obvious with Ain't Got No Sense. Legendary. Radio Birdman radios appear from Australia. Yeah, it's a must. I went with What Gives. Because most of comps that I came across, or I remember coming across when I was young, was always Burn My Eye or Hello Stephen Dano, so why not? And some might say, oh, that might be a little bit too obscure. It's not obscure, that obscure, but I went with the Dogs. And I really wanted to, initially I was like, I'm gonna dub Tough Enough, or Slash Your Face, but I decided to go with John Rock and Roll Sinclair. It's catchier, you know, it gets you going. It might be a tune to get a kid curious on checking out the Dogs. After the Dogs, I decided to go with a band that you can debate and say, oh, that's not punk. Even the band themselves, they credit their influence to rockabilly and garage more than they do with punk. But for guys like me, it's punk as fuck, and I'm talking about the Cramps. I went with You Got a Good Taste from Smell a Female, banger. And from Cramps, you wonder where did I go to? Guess what? I went with Gigi Allen, Hated in Nation, just because the quality of sound of You Hate Me and I Hate You in this release from Roar. This is from 2004, originally from 87, but the quality of this pressing is excellent. So, You Hate Me and I Hate You, that is something that a young buck can easily relate to. Then from GG, I went with one of my favorite bands of all time. I went with Germs, with GI. And initially I was thinking, maybe Media Blitz, because he's more like, you know, quick tune, you know, tight, urgent enough, catchy. But I decided to go with Richie Dagger's Crime. I love that song. Then I grabbed this one here. This is on SST from, I don't know. This thing is always available. This one is probably like 20 years old or 25 years old. But I went with a Black Flag the first 4 years because the quality of the sound here, it's way better. White Minority was my song of choice to introduce someone young to punk rock, to Black Flag. And then I went with a banger, Bad Brains, the Roar cassette. This is the first pressing on wax from the cassette, I believe sometime early 90s maybe, Pay to Come. And the reason why is because I remember clearly watching Scorsese's After Hours and that scene in a punk club and Pay to Come in the background. You know, it's probably still to this day my favorite, you know, punk adjacent scene from, you know, entertainment industry that I recall. I absolutely love that scene, and Pay to Come was the tune in the background. So we're still on the A side of the cassette tape. Then I went with Social Distortion, Mummy's Little Monster, Anti-Fashion. That's the sound I went for. Banger. Needless to say, these are all classics. And to end the cassette, just because there was a little bit of tape, so I needed to squeeze something in, and I found the perfect classic to squeeze in, which was Circle Jerks, first track of the legendary group Sex album, Deny Everything. And that's how I ended the A side. Then it was time to do the B side. And I aimed for the sky right out of the gate. And I did it with the Almighty Saints. And as much as I wanted to, I was like, what about you? Erotic, neurotic, no time. I just went with I'm Stranded. Yeah, you got it. You got it. No, I'm Stranded. Banger. Then, from Saints, I went to this almighty classic. Thunders and Breakers. Like a Motherfucker Revisited. The quality of the sound in this record is phenomenal. That's why I decided to use this record to dub. And I went again. It was like One Track Mind. What should I go for? One Track Mind, Chinese Rocks, Born to Lose. I went with Get Off the Phone, even though we don't have landlines anymore, but we have the damn cell phones. It's even worse. So these fucking kids, they need to get off the fucking phone, right? And even though pre-punk, you'll say proto-punk, it's just pure rock and roll. As soon as I was listening to Heartbreakers, I knew, yeah, I gotta throw some Dolls in it. And New York Dolls debut, one of the best rock and roll albums of all time. Fight me on that. I went with my favorite song by this record, which is Trash. From New York, we went to England, and I plugged in Generation X. And, you know, I was like, again, give me some truth. Well, the youth, blah, 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 blah. And I end up going to Your Generation because I remember, I know how many or how much great music I discovered through covers. You know, listen to something, then later on became, oh, that's a cover? Let me go check the original, and then you're in the rabbit hole. Yeah, sorry about that, the glare. Classic. After Generation X, Buzzcocks, singles, Going Steady, which is a comp, but if it was not a comp, it would be easily one of the best albums ever. And by grabbing this, I realized I have 3 copies of this record, which I totally forgot about it. It's either original pressing, 79 US pressing. I have the English pressing and a German pressing of this record. But the song that I choose to put on that mixtape was Promises. A little romance. And then Jam. Another classic. I went Captain Obvious here. I went with In the City. I was tempted to, when I thought about the Jam, I said, oh, I think I'm going to use Going Underground. But no, if you never listen to the Jam, you got to start with In the City. Jam, 999. Initially attempted to dub Homicide, and my record fucking skipped. But probably the reason we skipped is because I have some shitty audiophile system. Pretty shitty. So if I ever send these cassettes to you and all that, expect these to be the cassettes that your junkie uncle sent to you. There'll be pops and clicks and cracks and shit like that, because Ain't got time for that. So 999 had to be in that compilation. This is my favorite 999 album, which is a banger. And I went with the song Hit Me. Hit Me. Criminally underrated tune by 999. Often hear people mention 5, 6, 999 songs prior to even get to Hit Me. For me, it's like top 2, top 3 right there. After that, Ruts. Feel like Babylon's Burning might be too much for a 12, 13, 14-year-old kid first getting exposed to punk rock music, so I gave him something that a youngster can relate to. I gave him Criminal Mind. Then I went all the way to Ireland. Oh shit. Yeah, Stiff Little Fingers. Stiff Little Fingers. And again, Suspect Device, Alternative Ulster, Johnny Was, blah 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 blah. Well, I went with Here We Are Nowhere. I think it's relevant as fuck. After Stiff Little Fingers, I went with Almighty UK Subs. Another kind of blues, their debut, their best album for sure. Stranglehold was my tune of choice. Then, back to Ireland. I used this comp, the Undertones, West Bank songs from 78, 83, which is pretty much a compilation of the 4 full lengths. Sounds way better than the first pressing, both the Teenage Kick singles and American self-titled that contains the Teenage Kicks as a bonus track. So I went with Teenage Kicks. And by the way, this, if you haven't come across this is Money in the Bank. I bought this at the time, felt like you don't need that to have all the Undertones records. Why do you need that? But it was like so cheap. It was like $20 something for a double LP. Awesome packaging, fantastic. And at the time, I was at the record store. There was nothing that I wanted to buy, and I needed that instant fix. I ended up buying this, and I'm so glad I did, because I haven't listened to any other Undertones record since I bought this rather than this one. Highly recommend Money in the Bank on this recent release. Then I went with Vibrators, and I decided to add some sexuality to the mix, and I went with Whips and Furs. Too soon? After the Vibrators, Weirdos was my choice. Yeah, Weirdos was my choice. I struggle. I was like, why do you exist? Life of crime, happy people. But I decided to go with Hitman, because I feel like it's a song that has a bounce, a drive that can get someone totally unfamiliar with this genre of music somewhat excited and curious to give it a try and explore a little bit more. After the Weirdos, it had to be a classic, and it was this, Dead Kennedys. And man, I'm a big Dead Kennedys fan, as many of you might know. There's not one song that I discount from their catalog, but I had to go with Holiday in Cambodia. It's like, I remember learning or being made aware of political, social, historic content through punk rock. So Follow the Income Boy is not a song that will make someone interested into deep dive in Dead Kennedys and figure it out. Maybe you just need to read a book to start with. After that, I went with DOA, Canada Almighty, and fuck, I couldn't believe it. I tried to... The quality of sound from this comp in comparison to the quality of sound of the Something Better Change press, it's way better. So I used this one to dub World War III. To DOA, I went with Misfits. And nothing to say about this, right? So my tune of choice for this mixtape, this Punk for Dummies mixtape, was Astro Zombies. And after Misfits, I plugged in Descendants, Milo Goes to College, with Bike Cage. I know, nobody shoots heroin anymore, but they do fucking, are obsessed with Botox and tummy talks and Brazilian butt lifts. It's the same thing. So Bike Cage, banger, classic, more than a classic. And then the tape, there was little time, and I wanted to plug in Discharge and GBH, but 90 minutes is 90 minutes. So I want to plug in something that I felt that is relevant. Minor Threat, went with this comp on Discord. I have no idea what year this is. I don't want to hear it. That was my tune of choice. And last but not least, one of my favorite bands, hailing from Indiana, that is not Sloppy Seconds, but had to be there, relevant as fuck. Classic record from 1982. I ended a mixtape with Zero Boys, Civilization's Dying. There you go. Let me know, you junkie uncle, if that will be a good initiation mixtape for a kiddo to get excited about punk rock. I know we're already doing a bad deed, push them on the wrong direction, but yeah, that was the idea, the mindset behind this. I'll come back at you hopefully next week. I think I'm gonna do a video on German punk next week. You guys, as always, thank you so much for your support. Share your thoughts on comment, let me know, give me ideas, anything is always truly appreciated, because at the end of the day, I do not talk with anybody else about punk rock but you. You guys take care. Cheers.